calculate the amount of product formed. Well, in this reaction, I'm going to use up all of my 100 grams of chlorine gas. I have 200 grams of S8, and I'll have some left over, but I'll use up all of my chlorine gas because that is my limiting reagent. So what I'm going to do is I want to find out the amount of product formed. So I'm going to start with my 100 grams of chlorine gas, and I'm going to turn it into moles, because for every 4 moles of chlorine gas, I produce 4 moles of disulfur dichloride. And then I want to figure out how many grams of disulfur dichloride form. So I'm going to go from grams of chlorine to moles of chlorine into moles of disulfur dichloride into grams of disulfur dichloride. So I'm going to start with my 100.0 grams of chlorine gas. And I know that 1 mole of chlorine gas, I got to look back on here because it's 70.90 grams of chlorine gas. 70.90 grams of chlorine gas. And I know that for every 4 moles of chlorine gas, I will produce 4 moles of disulfur dichloride. And I know that 1 mole of disulfur dichloride is equal to how many grams? So let's see, 2 chlorine is 70.90 plus sulfur is 32.06, and I have 2 of them. I messed it up. So I got 32.06 times 2 gives me 64.112, plus my chlorine is 70.90 for 2 moles of that. Oh, so 32.06 times 2 equals plus 70.90 equals 135.02 grams of disulfur dichloride. So my grams of chlorine cancel out, my moles of chlorine cancel out, my moles of disulfur dichloride cancel out, and I can get my answer. So 100 divided by 70/90, multiplied by 4 divided by 4 is going to not change it. Multiplied by 135, I did that wrong. 100 divided by 70.9, multiplied by 135.02 gives me 190.4, because it's 4 significant figures, grams of disulfur dichloride. So that's how much of my product. So when you figure out how much product you're going to use, you always have to base it off of your limiting reagent.